Hello and welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast. Today is a little bit different. I have a special treat for you. Today I have some bits and clips from the live shows that we did on Prepper Broadcasting Network on Sunday. Check out the entire interview on our members page for paid subscribers. Guys, I hope you all had a great 4th of July Independence Day celebration. We had a blast doing the live show, and I hope you enjoy the interviews and get to have as much fun as we did. Until next time, remember, dream, survive, thrive. All right, we're back, and we are live. We got Chin. Hey, Chin, what's up?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Chin's up.
And we got Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy with us. Hey, guys, how you doing?
Hey, fantastic. How are you guys?
What's up?
Yeah. Love it. Love it.
That's great.
I'm telling you, Amy, I'm going to get you wrangled in for doing some audio next time we go around. It was just too weird to hear you as Swenson. We got to get you a better role.
There you go. Yes. Maybe something more gender appropriate.
Yeah, and a lot less evil. So
yes. Yeah. Oh, but evil's fun, though.
Evil's more.
All right. I like to hear that. All right.
Watch your back, Doctor.
I
know. Believe
he does a really good evil voice, though.
I do.
Oh yeah. What a character, huh?
Yeah, that was the setting. I heard that he wanted to be an evil doctor, and I was like, oh. Well, ask the fictional author and you shall receive.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start it out. I'm going to dive right into medical stuff, actually, because I have a really important question for you.
Okay.
Hinging off of what just happened to us over the past couple weeks. So my husband had a kidney stone.
Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, when it passed from his kidney into like the super little tube, well, I don't know the technical terms or anything, the pain sent his body into shock. And he was sweating and his heart rate starts going crazy. I mean, the heart, like they hooked the EKG up to him and whatnot, and he was strong, but everything else was like going wrong. And all I could think about, here's Sarah Prepper, and all I could think about was, oh my God, what if this happened in a survival situation when we didn't have access to a hospital? And he's had one before. So, of course, we start thinking that direction. But there are so many things that could cause that to happen. So, survival scenario, disaster scenario, what do you do if somebody starts going into shock like that? You have no idea what's going on with them. But you obviously need help and need to figure it out. Any words of advice there?
Well, are we talking about a kidney stone in this case?
Yeah, I mean, what if you didn't know, though? What if you didn't know what the problem was?
Right. Well, if you didn't know what the problem was, you have to basically do a full physical exam. You just can't look at somebody and just say, magically, this is your problem. You have to ask them questions. You have to get a good history. You have to do a physical exam. You've got to do what you can to see, to sort of narrow it down. In survival situations, you're never going to have what we call definitive diagnosis. Definitive diagnosis relies on not only an exam, but it involves blood tests and CAT scans and MRIs and X-rays and all that business. The best you can hope for is what we call empirical therapy, which is basically making a diagnosis based on your best guess, depending on what the signs and symptoms are. So for somebody that is having a kidney stone, of course, that would be pain, usually in the flank area. It starts off in the flank area, and it's something that even stones that are as small as grains of sand can actually go through the tube that you mentioned, by the way, that goes from the kidney to the bladder, is called the ureter. And it's a little tiny itsy bitsy tube. And even if it's as small as a grain of sand, it can cause a lot of pain as it goes down because it causes a partial blockage of the kidney. And what happens is it causes pain not only in the tube area, but it also causes pressure in the kidney above. and causes it to swell and causes it to really have a lot of pain. And there are a lot of complications that can occur as a result of kidney stones, abscess formations, serious infections that can occur. There's you can even perforate the tube that goes from the kidney to the bladder and really cause a lot of problems. So that's something that's important for everybody to know, whether the kidney is healthy, whether there is a blockage or not. That's really important, and that depends on what type of stones you're dealing with. Most of the time, you're dealing with calcium stones, and these are formed in people who have a familial tendency to produce a calcium carbonate type of chemical compound which forms a stone. This is the most common variety, and honestly, you see them most of the time in males, and usually the males are between about 20 and 40. There are stones that occur more often in women. Those are called struvite stones. There are stones that form in people that have gout and other kinds of issues like that. There are uric acid stones. So there are a lot of different types of stones, and it sort of depends on who you are, what the likelihood is of the type of stone that you're going to get. And probably about 80% have calcium stones. Now, you're going to see people with kidney stones have bloody urine, they'll have fever and chills, they'll have nausea and vomiting, all sorts of stuff. The truth of the matter is that the only thing you really can do for this kind of pain, it does come and go, but it eventually does pass through. And so
yes,
you can,
it did.
You can offer pain relief in the form of NSAIDs like ibuprofen, and of course oral hydration, really trying to push fluids to speed the passage of these little grains of sand and stones out of the body. That's really what you want to do. Sometimes the doctor will even give you a strainer so you can actually identify the stone as it passes.
Yeah, he saved it. It's a little bit bigger than a BB.
Wow, that's pretty big. So
that's
that
good size.
I'm not surprised that it caused
major pain.
A lot of pain.
Ouch.
Now, most of the time, the pain occurs in sort of phases. The pain usually reaches its peak within a couple of hours of onset. It goes down the flank of the person, and it can cause pain for up to about 18 hours. It can be really, really terrible.
God.
You were traveling too. Well, you just got back from traveling, so imagine if that had happened on the road. That would have been horrible.
Yeah, we were on some backwoods Nevada highways.
Yeah, I mean, holy smokes.
Yeah, it could have really been a scary situation. So, God looking out for us there. He waited till we got home and threw it at us the next day.
Well, that's good. You really have to have some medical supplies in your vehicle. I've always felt that way.
Yes, I did have my go bag, and I did have my emergency kit with me. So,
all right, always a good idea. Should have hydration in it. And if you're in Nevada, my gosh, you need to have fluids on board. You need to have pain medicines. You need to have stuff for trauma. I mean, there's so many things that can happen out in the desert, where there's next to nobody. I mean, Nevada is a state where there's like a couple of places where there's population, and the rest of it is sagebrush.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's exactly it. What are you working on right now?
Well, right
What
now,
are we working on?
we've been doing a number of different videos, doing some for some of our friends.
Some trauma stuff.
The City Prepping is a channel that uses some of our videos. So is Canadian Prepper.
Yeah, they both have.
Okay.
I don't know how they do it, but they both have almost 800,000 subscribers. It seems insane to me how that happened, but but they do, and we've known them for
Forever,
since when they both started, essentially. So they're friends, and they wanted some education on medical topics. Today we're putting together orthopedic, how to wrap a SAM splint, how to wrap an ankle with an ACE, how to tell if something is broken or just a sprain or strain.
Okay.
Things that like what we were just talking about, diagnosing something without an x-ray. A lot of people, do I go to the hospital? Do I not? Is this broken? Is it not? That happens every day, all across the world. So we talk about what's it going to look like? What are some signs that it could be broken, and then how to stabilize it and take care of it?
Way that you can identify a broken bone using a tuning fork and a stethoscope. If you're worried about let's say a shin bone that might be broken, you take a tuning fork and you put it on the bone below the level of fracture. When I say that, I mean away from the torso, closer to the foot, for example. And then you put the stethoscope on the area close on the other side of where you think the
Of the
fracture
injury,
might be.
right.
Okay.
Closer to the torso. And then you listen in as you hit the tuning fork and you put it on the bone, and it sounds distinctly different if the bone's broken and if the bone's intact. And the way you
That's
can
awesome.
tell, and the way you can tell is by checking the other side.
Right, the
Right.
uninjured side.
So you listen to what it sounds like on the side that's not injured. Then you look on the other side, and the sound,
Listen on the other side.
transmit. Listen on the other side. The sound transmission is a lot less, or you may not hear it at all with this,
Wow.
because there's disunion of the
Not conducting the
Okay.
sound.
Right. It's not
That's
rattling
awesome.
through.
Yeah, no conduction.
Yes. So those
That
are
is
some
awesome.
that.
Yeah. We also recently did a video for Canadian Prepper on how to stop bleeding.
Also
Which was
an OB.
fun.
We did an OB kit
I did one on OB kit.
on your OB kit. That's pretty
Well,
awesome.
I don't know if he hasn't put the one that I talked about the supplies, but he's put up the ones where we talked about OB care.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
something.
I feel for these guys that have these giant groups of people, that follow them, because they have to always put out some kind of sensational output. And talking about just like medical supplies.
Oh,
and stuff
Canadian
like that,
Prepper's
that's
been
just boring as
going
hell.
crazy
Yeah.
about
Oh.
the Russian-Ukraine war.
Right.
And city prepper is staying more, middle of the road, prepping, education.
Mhm.
Like,
Well, I mean, I've been also writing some political stuff that's being published, picked up by some of the sites. American Thinkers have been putting up some stuff, and my stuff is mostly relating to the politics of medicine.
Ah.
And for example, in California, there's a bill called AB 2098, and it's basically a medical disinformation board. And it gives power to the state's medical board in California to investigate and punish doctors whose advice and treatment varies from the, quote, applicable standard of care.
or not just that, what they say on social media,
Right.
their YouTube videos.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So if you put up a YouTube video that was against or questioning, even just questioning vaccine side effects, or we don't really, or just saying, hey, listen, this is pretty new. We're not sure what this may or may not cause. I mean, it's been terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Is
Yeah.
this fallout from like big corporate? I know, like I grew up in a small town, like a really small town, and it was just a local community hospital, right? So I mean, it just seemed more personable. But now you go to a hospital, and it's the same hospital that's in 5 other cities, right? I mean, it's the same corporate. Is that like
Yeah.
fallout that you're seeing?
No, it's not from the hospitals. It's from our government.
Really?
It's our government, but because they're tied to the pharmaceutical companies. The CDC are people who've either just worked in the drug industry and now they've moved to the CDC, or they're in the CDC and now they're in the drug companies, and they're all bestest buddies.
They hop
Yeah.
back and forth between government and corporate jobs.
Yeah, the revolving doors.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Exactly, they're all buddy. They they don't need lobbyists because they have dinner with each other all the time.
Yeah.
They don't need to pay to get what they want. So, and then there's patents that people in the CDC have. They're making money. Fauci has made, I don't know how much money off of these vaccines because of his investments and patents. So we're not getting the most neutral, person-friendly versus corporation-friendly information about these vaccines. But
And
yeah,
honestly,
they want to slam all that down. They don't want you to say a darn thing about those vaccines.
after just being out in California too, living in Texas, just being out in California, the amount of fear that they live on every day compared like to here. I mean, everybody's worried about the next outbreak and they have apps for their phone, and the commercials are like, oh, if your neighbor has it, hide inside. And it's like,
oh, and they have the tracing apps too. They have the thing where you could voluntarily have a location app, and then if somebody that you have walked nearby comes up with COVID, they'll alert your phone to tell you you've possibly been exposed. Can you imagine?
No.
Being tracked like that, and them knowing that you walked next to somebody in the grocery store for 5 minutes that had COVID, and then they let you know?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's the same thing they're doing in Australia too.
Unbelievable.
I believe that.
What that does to your psyche, right? It's just
Exactly. They're living in
horrible.
fear all the time.
Fear. Fear mongering. It has been so bad for 2.5 years.
And I'll tell you where the fear is. The fear is also in the newer generations of doctors that are young doctors that are coming out. I mean, this thing in California, I mean, they're reining in this misinformation or disinformation. And the thing is a young physician, honestly, in medical school should be taught the importance of teaching them to be objective and to ask questions, question prevailing thought when it's appropriate. I mean, if medical professionals don't have this freedom, I mean, there wouldn't have been medical progress. I mean, we still would be, putting leeches on for the plague or stuff like that.
I have
work some things.
Right, bleeding, using those cups.
Right. And so this is the thing. This is what we really need to know. I mean, in communities like this, if I went into some of the communities in California and I started pushing herbal remedies, I would have get dozens of complaints to my medical board by activists that are against, perfectly reasonable modes of therapy, things that you definitely are worth trying. And for a young doctor just starting out, defending themselves against such complaints, that's so risky. I mean, many of these people have young children, they have spouses to support.
Huge loans.
They have
huge loans. Yep.
So they're forced now to follow a straight and very narrow path, even if that path isn't, in their opinion, in their patient's best interest. And so that's the thing. I mean, this is a very dangerous thing. You don't hear about it anywhere, but it's happening here. And there's also a suggestion now I forget, I'm trying to figure out what the name of it is, but there is an actual federation of state medical boards, and they're also passing their own misinformation policies. And so they're trying to crack down on it. As a matter of fact, I have a quote from somebody from that organization. Where is it? Oh, here we go. This is from the LA Times. It says, it's incumbent upon physicians to keep up with what's permissible, what's approved, what's authorized, and what's not. And so they're exerting this iron fist authority over the entire country's physicians. So your likelihood to have somebody recommend ivermectin, let's say, for COVID, is basically putting their license at risk for recommending things like that. And it actually works. I mean, we've used it ourselves. So
I don't know if you should say that out loud, honey. Someone could come after.
All right.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Might work, we'll say.
Right. Well,
it seems to have possible.
Oh, by the way, I mean, does everybody? Do you remember?
That's sad.
Do you remember the doctor that first tried out hydroxychloroquine
2 years ago
and zinc?
2
couple of
years
ago
he did this.
Yeah, he had hundreds of his own patients at his New York community that got COVID, and I think out of several thousand in the end, he wound up having a grand total of 3 patient deaths, even though most of them were elderly.
Zaleski?
And Zelenko. Was his name.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
And he just died.
He just passed away.
From not from COVID, but from lung cancer. He was 48 years old, so I want to just give him
props for being that trend center and staying with it. Yep.
Being that kind of guy. I mean, at the age of 48 to die from lung cancer, that's pretty bad.
It's hard.
So,
poor thing.
So it's one of those things that.
But he held fast, and he held steady, and he had a community that supported him regardless of what New York was trying to do to him.
Mm-hmm.
everybody was trying to shut him down.
And that's the thing. That's what it's going to boil down to, is holding true to our values no matter what. Because I just see a lot of pushing, coming to shoving, and, it's just going to be a matter of holding to our values in the spite of that adversity.
Exactly.
You're absolutely
can you
right.
imagine these pediatricians who are being told to recommend a COVID vaccine for an infant?
No.
An infant. It horrifies me.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrifies me. A newborn or 3-month-old. How often are you going to give this COVID shot that wears off within days? And when I say days, 3 months,
Yeah.
4 months is
So you have to
basically
get a booster every year? Oh, the pharmaceutical company would love that.
not every year, every 3 months, every 4 months, every
Yeah,
6
no.
to an
No.
infant.
Yeah.
Count those shots up before that child even is 18 and can make a decision for themselves. There are parents out there that are going to be doing this, and that kid is going to get, 100 shots before they're 18.
My gosh.
Or they can decide their own body and what they should and should not have done. That parent's going to do that to them already.
Oh my gosh.
Because of the fear that they've instilled, especially in these young parents, with kids who absolutely have, no problem with COVID.
Yeah.
They don't even...
I do
And
like
I want to
evening
say
reading of
make
it.
an announcement that the Survival Medicine Handbook, the edition that we're giving away as prizes today, won the 2022 Book Excellence Award in Medicine.
In medicine.
Yep,
Very
from
nice.
Book Excellence Award. So we were
Congratulations.
honored to get that. That's actually our third Book Excellence Award since we started writing.
Yeah, the third one won in
Well, that's
2000.
been a long time.
I don't know.
17.
15, 17.
17 and
And
one
then the antibiotic book.
in 2020. It sounds
Okay,
great.
perfect.
Well,
Just
thanks
let
for
us know.
having us. And,
Thank you so much.
Okay, it was good talking to you, James and Chin, and
Oh yeah, definitely.
Be safe.
take good care of yourselves.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
roping
thanks
you
for
in
showing
next
up.
time, Amy. I'll just keep that in mind. I got a character for you.
Oh, yes, I'll be an audio voice.
An
All right,
evil
so-
woman.
All
All right.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
right, bye.
Bye.
All right. So
Man.
we got the intrepid commander with us. We got Dave in the room, and we got
Hey,
Christian
Joe.
here with us.
Hi.
And Christian, all right.
Hey, the little man.
Yeah.
The star of the show.
Man, he does such a good job on his vocals. Don't blush. He does such a great job. And
Does.
like his audio, I barely have to edit it, make it bigger, trim it off, that kind of thing. It just comes out crisp and pure. So
Wow. You're a natural.
why don't you go ahead and share how you like doing the audio drama?
I just like it because I get to act as a character that is just me, basically.
True. How did you like doing the crying scene?
Oh, I hated it.
Not
Yeah,
a
she's
fan of the
fake cried
crowd.
to make me start crying, so I was not happy.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for joining us, Krish.
No problem.
Yeah. My little voice actor. He wanted to chime in
yeah.
today, so there
To
we go.
say the least.
Right? He's a good dude.
He should teach how to survive Sarah Hathaway. That'd be your class, man.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad one, actually.
Right?
Yeah, I was just talking to Fletcher about that the other day.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
How fun is that?
Ironically enough, that is a topic of conversation as of late. Yeah.
I like that. That's cool. Yeah, this was a great idea, Sarah.
Yeah.
This took the 4th of July weekend up an entire another notch, for sure.
I really enjoy doing the binge episodes and then, getting everybody together. And the next hour is going to rock as well, with everybody from PBN. I think Jordan's going to come on that hour. And then L. Douglas Hogan's going to chime in, too. We're going to have Swenson here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Better watch out, boys.
Big baddie.
He's actually a pastor.
I know, that's the best part, right?
I know he does he does a lot of other work too. And none of it revolves around anything Swenson does. So, yeah.
He does a great job, man. He's
Yeah.
got a great voice.
Totally believable.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
All the characters, and I'm not just saying this because James is on. I think
Oh.
James and him are the two characters that fit their voice 100%.
Uh-huh.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chappie too. I literally write lines for Robert, and he's come so far with his voice because it was bad, and I had to do a lot of editing in the beginning, and he's come so far, and I literally write lines like that I know he can, that he naturally would say. So
You can't forget about Ryan. And you too, Dave.
Oh, no. Well, Ryan, he does that Russian accent. I mean, if you didn't know that was Ryan, you'd never know it was him. You'd never guess it.
right, I didn't even recognize his real voice the first time I heard it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, because I was like, no, this isn't Ryan. Like, where's Yuri? Where? Yeah.
Yeah. As for me, it's easy because I'm schizophrenic anyways. I can do a bunch of different voices. That little chuckle you heard was Deanna. She's here.
All right. Hi, Deanna. How you doing?
Oh,
Hello. I love your enthusiasm. For those of you that don't know, Deanna plays Roxy. Roxy just has a few lines, but man, you bring it like every time, very enthusiastically.
I was shocked when she was reading and the way she was doing it. I'm like, wow, she's really getting this.
Yeah.
But she was a voice actor anyways.
No, it's good. And she should learn from you a little bit too. I learned from you actually because you do so many different voices and there's times you can't even tell, like that's Dave doing this voice. And a lot of times it's in your cadence of how you're actually saying a word. And it sounds so different from how you normally talk that it just throws you off. And I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. If you're still saying the words the same way, but in a different pitch, everybody can still tell it's you. But if you switch that up, now you're a different character.
Well, I didn't even know that. I just pull from the 16 people that are inside of me.
More like the 16 lives you've lived, Dave.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
Listen.
Love it. So what's the weekend looking like for the Intrepid Commander? Do you guys like set off fireworks over there and stuff?
I'm already well into the weekend machinations. It's been a crazy weekend. I mean, we were all hanging with Dave yesterday, and that was most of the day, an adventure that took most of the day. And
Most
I
of the
left
early
Dave's
morning
house.
and yeah.
Yeah, I left Dave's house feeling like I had it celebrated quite enough, to be honest. Yeah,
Nice.
I had eaten like a king. I had tasted the nectar of the Jones homestead, if you will.
Beautiful.
And and today we were busy all day, same kind of thing, barbecues and that stuff. And then tomorrow will be the big day. And, tomorrow is when I get really, really nuts. And I had this old flag that I like to wrap myself in. And,
yeah,
it was really great.
I've got my American
This
flag
morning-
pants, my American flag shirt.
Yeah, all
everything.
that.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Actually, me and my youngest son have this tradition where we play this really crazy, violent game called Homefront. Has anybody ever heard of Homefront?
But I got to get David turned on to it. He'll love that.
No, I haven't played it.
It's an old game, relatively. And the idea behind it is that somehow North Korea has won the technological battle against the United States and is occupying the U.S. And the U.S. is in shambles. And this high-tech North Korean state, is all over the streets of Philly. And it's really fun. And, you're basically a rebel. So we've been playing that for years, only on the 4th of July, because it's just not a great game anymore. But we always murder North Koreans, usually first thing in the morning on 4th of July.
Family traditions.
Yeah, in
know.
the video game world.
Nice.
So that'll be a thing. Yeah, we've got way too many fireworks yesterday. What do you have, girl?
Out here, so we're in a little bit of a drought right now, but we are still clear for blowing stuff up. So
That's good.
we can do we've got, oh man, the sky's the limits really here in Texas as far as fireworks go, which is just epically awesome. So we have artillery shells.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you buy these huge tubes, and then you buy these huge balls, and you light them and launch them into the artillery shells or into the tube, and it sends them up like you're a pro, man.
Hey, I got one for you guys real quick, and this might be just me being ignorant, but while we're on the subject of SHTF stuff, when we were down the beach a couple weeks ago, I bought my son, I buy my son a lot of weird stuff, and I, pay close attention to him or hold certain things until we can play with them together, but he's got a lot of cool stuff.
Right.
And the one cool thing that he had that he got down there was a Zippo.
That's true.
Because I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it's probably the easiest lighter to light.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it would. You probably
They're very
could use a zip.
windproof.
Yeah, they're super windproof.
They do dry out if you're not lighting them, using them often enough and refilling them. They do dry out fairly easily. Doesn't take too long for that cotton to not have the fluid on it anymore.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then the other problem is once your flint runs out, if you don't have a flint backup for that, then you're in big trouble.
That's what he was stocking them with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder what that would look. I wonder how many fires in you'd have to be.
Well, if you have a Bic that doesn't have any fluid left in it,
You just take that.
you can strip the flint out of there, right, and put it in your Zippo.
Yeah, I just put walnut scales on a knife blank that I bought, and it's rocked my world with knives. Now I'm like, all I want to do is buy knife blanks now and put crazy cool scales on them and just make them from that. You know what I mean?
That's what we're working on right now is building the forge.
Yeah, but the blanks, I'm telling you, the blanks are so cheap, and they're awesome.
Uh-huh.
Like if you look up knife blanks,
about that, James.
not like this bar steel to make the knife itself, but the blanks you can get for $20, like a real nice. You could get a super nice Damascus knife blank for $30-$35. Buy the scales for $8-10, and then all you need to buy is a pack of the bars that you set into the scales,
Right.
So up front, that would be another 15, but you would have enough bars for a while. And then you just make the knife, you know what I mean? You put it together any way you want. And
no, that's
I'm
cool.
telling you, from my experience blacksmithing thus far.
So come on back. And thanks, guys, for joining. Come on back at the I'm not going to say the time. It's Central Standard Time, but everybody gets so confused with what's going on. So wherever you
Everything
are.
revolves around Texas time, huh?
Yeah, that's right. This revolves around. So wherever you are, we're going to be back in an hour with the next interview session. Thanks, guys.
Can't wait.
All right. Okay, bye.
See ya.
So welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed the second half of season 1. We have guest Phil Rabelais with us, and Phil plays Vergis on the story. So hi, Phil.
Hey, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And then we have L. Douglas Hogan with us, and Doug plays Swenson on the show. So hey, Doug, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going? High fives to you.
Yeah, we got the big 3 here, and then we got Fletcher Hathaway with us. And Fletcher plays
narrator
in this one, and he plays a ton of other characters in the season 2. So hey, Fletch, what's up?
Not much. Happy to be here.
So Fletcher went solo a couple of weeks ago.
Went rogue.
Yeah, when I was out in California and took the reins, did a pretty good job.
Yep.
Needed to do a little bit more research before the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, two
Yeah,
two
first
pages of
time.
notes. Yeah, it doesn't quite cut it when it's a hour-long show. But all right,
Hey,
well,
baby steps.
yeah, right.
Well, I mean, hell, that's 2 more pages of notes than I usually prepare for a show. So,
Yeah,
perspective.
but you can talk like, oh
Yeah.
man.
blame my genetics for that.
Yeah, fair enough. I do the same. So we got some giveaways to do. I'm not even in the live chat. I don't have Chin here to keep me centered. Chin, the rain stopped, so Chin's back out in the yard. So what'd you guys think? No, you got to remember, you can't do any season 2 spoilers, right?
Yeah. No season 2 spoilers.
I was telling Fletcher that before the show. I'm like, no
Okay,
season
I'm out.
2.
See ya.
Yeah, right. So Swenson's story ended with him taking Doyle so that he expands his empire. That's where season 1 ended. And then Vergis's character, he left the federal system, which I thought would be a cool tweak in there. What'd you think about that decision there, Phil?
Okay, no spoilers, but like I have to say, like, specific to the character I'm voicing, like the thing that's really impressed me is like you can tell there's a lot of internal conflict. There's a lot of I think the technical term is interest balancing happening. Like, on the one hand, you have a person who has kind of like grown up in this military lifestyle and in the military community, and the idea of being very regimented and respect for authority is kind of ingrained into him. But on the flip side of things, you have this really strong moral compass, and when those two things start to diverge, you see a person who's like, I don't know if I'm okay with this. I might just come over here and do my own thing. It's indicative of the absolute opposite of a one-dimensional character, in other words.
Right.
And it's interesting to write that into the character without making it explicit. Like, you just kind of read between the lines and say, oh, this guy's really like, he's trying to figure out what the right thing to do here is.
Yeah, I thought it gave his character. I mean, that's through the whole series. That's really the definition of Cole Vergis. Trying to do the right thing, but how can I still kind of work within the system to make that happen? So, that you pretty much hit it right on the head there.
Yeah, well, and the thing I appreciate is that it's sometimes it's tempting to write a character as like a Dudley Do Right, or like I'm trying to think what his
Mary
nemesis
Sue.
was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very easy to fall into those traps of making the good guy really good and always good, and then the bad guy always bad. And it's much more difficult to write them like real people
Right.
who are
Yeah.
going to occasionally do quote unquote the wrong thing because it seemed like the right thing to do at the time. Just as the most villainous of villains can show a little bit of humanity and be magnanimous or generous in the right circumstances if they believe it benefits them.
Right. Doug
it's
knows
writing.
all about that one. Swenson
it's writing
is like,
real people.
Yeah, when I asked Doug, like, hey, I got some Swenson story that I need to create. What do you think? You got any opinions on where to go, since now he's voicing this character? He was like, do you remember what you said, Doug?
With
That
With,
question, with Swenson's character
right
direction?
and wrong. Well, no, I was just going to say that right and wrong, and when you're dealing with a character like Swenson, is completely subjective.
Right? Yeah.
You don't know. I mean, one person's right could be another person's wrong, and it all goes back to what the person who's running the show. I mean, if this works out to the greater good for him and his group, then he's doing what's right, even if the person on the other end in the other group feels that they're it's wrong to them.
Right? Yeah. That's basically, and you were like, keep him so that everybody's still like guessing, right? He does a lot of good things, and there's more coming in season 2. I got to be careful not to.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I almost slipped. I'm sorry, guys. I almost made it. Yeah.
Yep. Questions you engage us with, the more likely we are to trip on something in season 2.
Fair enough. It's just such a hard thing to do when you know the story.
Yeah.
Chin used to always give me a hard time. Oh man, you're gonna spoiler. He became my co-host. He's like, wow, that's really hard. But no, the second episode is just jam packed. You guys are gonna love that one. So you're both into the website, and the episode is posted if you have anything going on tonight. But what do you guys got going for the 4th?
Go ahead, Phil.
I'm pretty much going to have a staycation at the house with my wife and my daughter and do as little as humanly possible. Maybe watch the neighbors blow their hands off with fireworks. I mean, seriously, like anybody that doesn't live down here on the Gulf Coast, it is currently somewhere between hot as hell and unmerciful.
Yes.
And
I don't
going
disagree.
outside. Yeah, going outside is strongly discouraged by anybody who doesn't have horns and a pitchfork. And, we have a vacation coming up in a couple weeks to go to the beach, so we're just going to kind of cool our heels, save money, and just be lazy for a weekend.
I like that. That's where I'm headed. What about you, Doug?
Well, there's a picture floating around, I think, on Facebook. It's like a meme of it says it's that time of season again, or it's the 4th of July is upon us. It shows like a bunch of x-rays of people's hands that's been completely blown to pieces.
Yes.
I'm going to abstain from launching fireworks this year, not because of that, but I think I just don't have the money to put down this year. It's just been rough.
Yep.
So my 4th of July has essentially broken down into a 2-prong weekend event. Today we went to see Maverick, and it was phenomenal. I love that movie. And then tomorrow we're heading. Yeah, the new Top Gun movie. Yeah.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was great. And I'm not a big Tom fan, but that movie was really good. Even though I heard that he acted like a complete douche on the set, being mean to people on the set, but the movie was great.
I've heard nothing but good things about it. So.
Yeah, it was wow. Epic is a good word for it.
Okay.
And tomorrow we're heading up the road to another town, and we're going to watch some fireworks go off. Somebody else can blow their fingers up, and we'll watch from a distance.
Sweet. Yeah, no, we're going to blow some stuff up tonight a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Or tomorrow, whatever. But not our general. I mean, once we moved here, we went kind of crazy on the fireworks. So it's not going to be as big of a
we got out from behind the Iron Curtain. We finally got to blow shit up.
We got a taste of freedom. We had to go for it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, y'all can hardly be blamed for that, considering the environment y'all came from to where y'all are now. I mean,
right?
Y'all wanted to be fully baptized in the waters of freedom.
Yes. We had like sparklers and fountains on a ladder in California.
Oh, you're getting dangerous.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We got the artillery shells and all that stuff out here. So yeah. Wow. We're going for it. We always do.
Yep.
Get her done.
You're not having fun until you make a sparkler bomb.
Oh no. I don't even want to know.
Right there, strapped to a sparkler.
It is not OSHA approved. Put it that way.
I believe that. We had like a little, it looked like a just little kid's safe little rocket. Christian wanted it from the store. So we get it and we bring it home. And you're supposed to set it up this way and that way so it goes in the right direction and everything. They got it all set up, all engineered to go off the right direction. Brock lights it, takes off running. That thing missed him, blew the other direction from what they set up and missed him by like a foot. Yeah, it was close. And goes right at the house. It's like, perfect.
Yeah. Misses the window by an inch.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, playing with fireworks as a kid was pretty good practice for being under mortar attacks in Iraq. I never put that together till just now.
Yep, there you go. I mean, we were running.
Yeah.
So, what are you guys working on? Preparedness-wise, podcast-wise? I know what Doug's working on. I just filled him up yesterday with some projects.
I'm really busy.
All right. I want to hear about it.
All right. Well, so I'm working on an anthology with some other authors. It's Fractured World. It's up on Amazon right now it's like pre-order. It's up for pre-order. We're not making a dime on this for ourselves. This is one we got like several authors, and it's going to be probably at least a couple volumes. I'm thinking, but 100% of the sales are going to go to the Gary Sinise Foundation. I'm a big fan of his, and he is a true believer in helping like Wounded Warriors, different kinds of veteran organizations and stuff, and awesome. It's not. I'm not going to sit here and talk out about the Wounded Warriors organization themselves. I gave lots of money to them also, but they had a kind of a dip because they had some kind of deal going on where they had somebody that was funneling some money or something. I don't Gary Sinise has got pretty clean hands. I'm just we all agreed this is what we're going to put the money. So that's the plan on that.
That's awesome. I'm going to look for a link so I can put that in the live chat. So that's cool.
I'll send you something. I'll direct message it to you.
Okay, that works. What are you working on there, Phil?
Well, I mentioned earlier I'm trying to resurrect the sequel to American Insurgent.
What have you been doing on the podcast?
Oh, everything.
Yeah, what's Matter of Fact's been lately? I haven't. Oh man, I got so much to listen to, so much to do.
I
Catch me
understand
up.
completely.
Yeah.
Matter of Fact's podcast is. I mean, we've the tagline is Prepping Guns Politics, and we tend to stick in that wheelhouse. But I'll be honest, like on the prepping end of things, we've really on every end, we've really spidered out a lot of different directions. You know, there's been so much going on, like with Supreme Court, with a lot of legal decisions that a lot of people out there in the content creation space are very leery of getting into politics. I look at it as if you don't take an interest in politics, politics takes an interest in you. So anything that our elected officials or judges are thinking about doing that could screw with us, we need to be aware of and we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, fair enough.
And we've been trying to kind of keep the listeners informed of what's going on, how it could impact us, where there's a threat or where there's a possible opportunity to maybe claw back some of our rights from the hands of tyrants.
Mm-hmm.
We've been honestly, like from the prepping standpoint, we've both me and my co-host and a lot of our listeners in the last year and a half have really reprioritized things. Like for a long time, a lot of us were very, very hung up, as most preppers are, on like firearms, ammunition, and that kind of stuff. And about a year and a half ago, coming out of COVID, my wife and I took a look at the landscape and we were like, we're probably going to start having supply chain disruptions, maybe even food disruptions in the future. So the two of us started really, really aggressively putting back food, got a chest freezer, started filling it to the brim with a quarter beef. We've been adding to it ever since. Yeah. And we've totally restructured our kitchen, our pantry, and everything else to be much deeper in food than we ever were before. And we've also been looking at things like alternate power sources. The project I'm working on right now is trying to make it to where I can hook up my 5K generator straight to the house. Mm-hmm. And that's not so much a grid down solution. That's more of I live in Hurricane Alley and stuff happens.
Situations. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. We had one that was hardwired to the house where you could just flip the switch, turn the generator on, boom, you're in business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to bear in mind, it was a year ago this August that Hurricane Ida basically flattened my whole area. So, the memory of what we had to deal with two oak trees landing on the house and one in the front yard and being out of power for 8 days, I mean, that's still very fresh on our minds. And
it was so weird, too, because, like, here, we're not that far from you. And here, you couldn't even tell that storm existed out there. Yeah. It was crazy.
It was a little odd in the fact that normally when you get a Cat 4 hurricane, it's got a little bit more size to it, like Hurricane Andrew, Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, wingspan.
It has a lot of wingspan to it. But this one was honestly about the size of a big Cat 2, and the wind speed was just it was magnificent in a bad way.
Right.
It was a very unusual storm. Did very unusual things like. Everybody jokes about how everybody becomes an amateur meteorologist, but I point out to them when you live on the Gulf Coast your whole life since you were born and you get chased around by hurricanes your whole life, you learn to kind of look at them and try to figure out where they're going. I mean, we see them up close a lot more than the average person does.
Exactly. So, it's a neat thing, too. That was something what we also enjoy about Texas very much is because California had, no weather. Yeah. So it was good to come back to storms and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, they just, you don't have weather there.
Yeah. It's just sunny.
I got to admit, I'm a little jealous. It's been raining off and on for about the last 10 days. That's our summers down here.
Yeah, we've been on the dry. You guys have been getting it all. We haven't been getting anything.
I mean, I'd send it over.
Good.
Doing good. Just shooting the stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. Here on day before Independence Day.
Yep.
I know. It's pretty amazing.
Yep. You're up in Washington. What's your fireworks status look like?
Well, we've got 4 dogs here, and our fireworks are generally brass and lead, so We tend to hold off on it. We had a whole night of thunderstorms last night, so I think they're probably done in for now. But that's one of the reasons why we moved into the country, because we were in an urban environment, and they'd light off fireworks all around us. So it was like there was no fireworks show; it was just fireworks all around you, and I thought it was kind of cool. But those poor dogs, man, they just suffered.
Yeah.
So
I got lucky. My dogs don't mind. Maybe it's because of the amount of thunder we get down here or something. They don't care.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of. I mean, you think about it. I mean, that as much as it's an event and it's pretty awesome to be able to go out and see fireworks and that kind of stuff. For me, it's more of it's turned into more of a personal thing, like an internal firework, so to speak, when it comes to Independence Day. Yeah. So I mean, for me, it's more powerful than the New Year's celebrations, and I don't need a whole lot, because it's something that I feel. It's not something that I feel like I have to see or experience with, thousands of other people in a crowd.
Oh, Ryan, before I forget,
Yes.
I just put together this scene. It's a tiny bit, not even a spoiler, but I just put together this scene where your Russian character talks to your Mexican character, and I was like, oh my God, if it's going to be weird, this is when it's going to be weird, right?
That's
Sure.
gonna be interesting.
It sounds like two different people, dude. I'm like,
Really?
No way. That is off the chain stuff right there.
That's great.
Yeah. I did do a tiny tweak on the Mexican guy, bringing his voice up a little bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're just like, no way. I can't believe it. I have brothers that are voice acting, and they talk to each other and they sound like the same guy. And you are the same guy. And you're talking to yourself, basically, and you can't even tell. It was freaking
That's
awesome. Awesome. All right, so we have Jordan just jumped in, and I want to say hi. But she's got her mouth pulled out. Sorry, you're even on video, and I didn't even. Yeah. Okay, we'll just wait for Jordan. So Jordan plays Cassidy Baker, which is Cole Vergis's little heartthrob. Yeah, yeah. And the leader of the militia, so she's a nice power player too. If you guys read my series, you know the friendship that Erica and Cassidy and the ups and downs of that road. So,
No, I'm good. I was snacking.
how you doing?
I'm tired.
You were having.
I'm surprisingly alive.
Yeah, good. I'm good. I'm glad. You get some rest?
Actually, last night was probably my first night of sleep in 4 days. Being out of the hospital is nice.
Yeah, that's why I was a little concerned, to say the least, because Brock went down with kidney stones a week and a half ago. Yeah, and then
I wish mine was kidney stones.
right. What's going on?
They don't know. They discharged me, and my kidney function is lower than it was when I went in.
Oh, awesome.
So
That was one of our topics earlier with Dr. Bones, because I was like, when things go bad, like ambulance bad, and you don't have a hospital to take somebody to, that's spooky time, right?
It's funny that you say that, because I thought about that, and it scared the living poo out of me. I don't know if we're allowed to curse.
You're good.
I honestly thought I was septic. I honestly thought I had sepsis, and they did the sepsis protocol, and it came back. It hasn't grown anything in 48 hours, but they have to still test it for 5 days. But still, the way I felt and everything, that I honestly thought I had gone uroseptic.
Crazy. Yeah, that Brock went in. It was a mess. So, but he's good. He passed. He passed. So we're good.
Yeah, gotta love everyday life. It definitely was not what I was expecting.
All right. Yeah, that never is. It's never a good thing.
No.
Don't wish that on anyone. So what's been going on in your world besides the hospital? You were like moving around a bunch, and you were thinking about doing like nomadic prepping, like how that works out.
Yeah, no. I mean, yes and no.
Yeah, no. There's no prepping when you're moving around.
Just... I'm ready to get out of the city. Yeah, it's been interesting. I actually bought my domain, been working on building up my website. So hopefully, with the kink in the room and everything that's going on, it's kind of delayed that. But it's been going. I've been regrouping to try to get everything on the road. I'm ready for prepper camp. I've been dying. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That has been our biggest thing in talk, because my partner, he likes to camp, so he gets to come. Oh, there's one of the Todds. But yeah, so we are excited. I'm ready. Y'all are my family, so it's nice to be like, I get to go see my family, my grumpy big brother Phil.
I'm not grumpy sometimes.
Yeah, we got Doug Hogan on here today. You've never met Doug, but we're talking him into coming out. Yeah.
I think he should have. We've spoken before via like Facebook and stuff. So it's like, dude, you need to.
Yeah.
I don't know if my video working, because I'm not seeing too much.
So where's Chin? Is he? I can't remember. Is he in the audio drama series?
He is in the audio drama. He does Harold's character. What?
I said it took a while.
Yeah. I had to browbeat him pretty hard, but he does Harold's character and Earl's character. So
nice.
Yeah, and he did like the soldier character. It's one of my favorite voices of his. He's like, "Hey, well, I think that we." Oh, I love it. So
Nice.
It's classic.
Yeah, Chin's always getting me to look into my wallet a little bit deeper for all the gear and stuff that he sends my way. It's like, Chin, you gotta quit spending my money for me.
I know. I'm like, dude, I'm saving.
Where do you find this stuff?
I don't have enough income for my medical bills, let alone the cool shit.
Right? Doug just had neck surgery, so nice to see that you're not in like a C-splint or something. I mean, it was a while ago, but you're finally out and everything. That was fun. What did they do to you, Doug?
Can you see me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see the scar or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. It's right here. They went into my my C4, 5, 6, and 7 and fused them together. So basically, I had two
from the front
severely hurt the discs that was causing muscle atrophy in my left arm. It was shriveling up and getting skinny, and I was losing all my strength in it. So they had to go through and pull out through the front, pull out my discs, and they put replacements in there, replacement parts. And so I'm trying to pull up a video or a picture of my parts because they're really cool. But that's what they did.
And
did
that
you,
was
did
because...
you get to keep the old parts?
Did you have like paint...
When do we get to hear the new?
Okay, new one is coming out next Sunday. It is up right now, commercial free for my paid subscribers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I'm on. I have to log in.
Yeah. Hit me up. So.
I can't wait. I'm eager.
Yeah, I know you've wanted it for days. I'm like, oh, guess what just happened? I found the coolest song. Oh, speaking of songs, I even made the Changing Earth audio drama playlist. And
nice.
Put up all the songs that I used. It's all royalty free. Well, it's all attributed properly. But so if you'd like dig one of the songs out of it, you can go over there and check it out. I get all the music from freemusicarchive.com, I believe. And they have some great artists over there. I love the artists that allow us to use their work, so I have to send a shout out. I have to give a thank you, because really without those artists putting that work up and me being able to access that and use it, I wouldn't be able to do the show. So that's pretty cool.
I actually downloaded, after you started putting music on that first season, I actually downloaded several songs and have it in my playlist. So yeah.
I have like the CE playlist, the Changing Earth playlist on my phone from like all of them.
Yeah,
so.
I had to download something to be able to open.
Without giving any spoilers, Doug, how did you like Swenson's storyline in season 2? No spoilers, but what did you think about
I can't, I can answer this easily in such a way that doesn't give away any spoilers. Because one thing I can say about Swenson, if not anything at all, I mean, he is absolutely consistent, and he is one of the characters. I don't think I'm saying too much, giving away any spoilers when I say he doesn't change a whole lot. His ideals are pretty static, and he presents a strength even in the most troubling and disturbing and difficult of times, and he always makes do, and he always seems to impress.
Yeah, it's just what opportunity is he going to get next, right?
That's right. He's only limited by his imagination. So
yeah, and then Phil, I know that you were pretty excited about the storyline and for Vergis. That one's been a careful craft for me. Because his character, well, both of them, but much so, Vergis's character is like there in Erica's storyline the whole time, but I've never given him his own material. And so really the audio drama is the first area where he's had like his own storyline. And I kind of did that on purpose to show you what the world is without a narrator.
Now, like I said earlier, I mean, it's very indicative of either very careful character creation or like the best dumb luck an author can have when you create conflicted characters. Because it's one thing to like explicitly state, like there's that writing style where you like go into a character's head and like you can read their thoughts and everything. Then there's a whole nother way where by reading between the lines, by looking at their actions, by looking at the hesitation, by looking at where you expect them to do one thing based on their history and they go completely the opposite direction, you see conflict. You see a person who's trying to navigate tough situations. And Sarah, in the situation you've laid out in this audio book, this audio drama, there are not going to be many clear-cut right answers.
Right.
There's going to be right for me.
You're navigating.
There's going to be right for me right now, and there's going to be every other option out there. But I mean, there are not going to be a lot of clear-cut right and wrong answers. It's going to be shades of gray. The entire world will be shades of gray. And if I do this, like if I make this decision because it benefits like the 5 people in my group, but it screws 100 who are not in my group, is that the right decision to make? It's the right decision to make for the people that I'm responsible for.
Right.
It's the wrong decision for everybody else.
Yeah.
And where do you apply your internal morality on a situation like that? Like I can say based on conversations I've had with like my wife and daughter, my little tribe, if things ever went to hell in a handbasket, we're going to do this, this, and this, and I don't care who it hurts. I hate to say it that way. It's like, it's not like I'm going to go out looking to cause mayhem, but I will do what I have to take care of my girls. And if that means somebody else has to skip a meal or somebody else doesn't get a bottle of water they need, that's your poor planning. That's not my problem because I'm not taking it out of my wife and daughter's mouths. But it's those kinds of situations where the average person can see there's a situation here that's going to be difficult to navigate between the need for survival and the moral tugs.
Perfect.
And for you to write,
yeah.
Well, but for you to write that into these characters, it makes them believable.
Yeah, right. It gets the audience thinking though, because you're pulled into their position. So, Ryan, you think that Yuri should do like the takeover and like just take Swenson out and take the top dog position there?
Boy, I don't know. There was a movie back when I was in elementary school where there were two, how do you say it? Two twins who were like barbarians or whatever, and they were like, I don't remember the name of this movie, but they were like, going at it to fight each other to be the king barbarian or whatever, and then they wound up joining forces. So who knows? I mean, maybe that would be something worth going for, but honestly, I think they're too weak. Those Russian boys. They might be strong in the muscle, but they're weak in the heart. So
fair enough. They are kind of.
They don't have the resolve Swenson has.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take very many women to distract those boys.
Yeah, that is
That's
also
very true.
true. Yeah. Yeah.
And Swenson doesn't strike me as a type that would take his eyes off of a potential competitor, even if it's a potential competitor who happens to be working for him at the time.
And when I say this, he's consistently demented. I mean, he is what he is and knows how he handles everything. So I don't see that there being much of a kink in the armor as far as getting past that.
Well, he's a predator.
Yes.
Call it what it is.
When you're on
Swenson's
top of the food chain.
Yeah. Swenson's character in his environment, in his little microcosm, is an apex predator. Nothing hunts him. Everything knows better.
Yep.
Nothing tries to depose him from his throne, because if you even try, the penalty is going to be horrendous. I mean, it's one of those situations where it's like, could somebody try? Yeah, but you might come out on the other side of that, even if you win, so maimed and screwed up and hurt. Or if it comes to like block wars or gang warfare, like if two reasonably equal forces collide, and the end result of that collision is one side loses, but the other side is basically destroyed. It's a Pyrrhic victory. What have you accomplished? And that's what I see in an attempt to take out Swenson. It's not enough to simply like try to out-muscle him. You have to tear him down to make him weak so that he loses control of what he has,
like how
and
do
then
you do
usurp
that?
it.
Oh,
How do you do
you
that?
gotta read the
It's
series. You
so
gotta
much
read
control.
the series.
I know, right?
It's gonna take me a long time to produce audio dramas. I can guarantee you that.
So I got a question. Who's the underdog here? The underdog who's gonna wind up really seeing some upward swing of that.
What do you mean?
I don't know, like someone who's like, I don't really know this guy, the Oppum, so to speak, you know.
Yeah,
Who-
in
you
TJ's
know who-
world?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, TJ's world gets really interesting even in this season that he does.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
Good
I'm like,
catch,
dude.
Phil, because you know what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna fill it for Chin just this once.
Thank
no
you.
spoilers, Sarah.
Thank you,
no
Chin.
spoilers.
Yes, thank you, Chin.
Nice.
Fill in. So
Well,
actually,
sorry,
Phil,
trying to hook you up.
Phil knows that's the Swenson side of the story because Gillian is the one who plays Teresa, which is, you know, TJ's housewoman, basically. Yeah, that he treats pretty good. So probably one of the only ones. So, but
I'll never forget when you asked her to play that role, by the way, and she's looking at the character bio you gave her, and she's like, I can't voice this, and I'm like, give it a try, honey. It'll be a workout.
Right?
I think she has a perfect voice for that.
Yeah. She
yeah,
does
but
really good.
in her own ear, like, I mean,
Of course.
the brief backstory is you have to bear in mind that like Gillian grew up in North Louisiana, which is literally like 20 minutes away from Arkansas. So the accent is dramatically different than what you get down here in South Louisiana.
Yeah.
So
that's truth.
in her ears, she hears how different she sounds from everybody else. But I've tried to point out to her, I'm like, honey, you've been down here since college. At this point, your accent's it's washed.
But Gillian does such
You
a
know
good
what?
job.
It
was
can't be
okay.
as bad as mine.
I don't know.
to
I've had some
fight
pretty bad
to
ones in
try
there.
to try to tone down my accent because it's rough.
Yeah, and Cassidy
It's a
Baker's
little
from,
thick
like,
sometimes.
From like Colorado area. So, yeah.
Yeah, she goes, "Oh, you're from the Midwest." I go,
Yeah.
"Because my eyes, not Rice eyes. I am Cassidy Baker." I'm like, "Oh shit, I gotta work on that one."
But Cassidy Baker too, like in hindsight, I probably should have just made you from the South somewhere because it's such a Southern name. Like I'm Cassidy Baker, you know. So I was like, what name creation of me is like the worst. I'm the worst. I've got a Hinklehorn in my story. His name is Don Hinklehorn. Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, total ode to Dr. Seuss,
wow.
man. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, but nobody picks it out. Everybody's just like, oh, okay. That sounds good.
It's our own little caveat in there, a little Easter egg, right?
Right, it is.
Yep.
Yeah, it's that little nugget that was like, here's.
I'm
my
hearing
code.
Finkel is Einhorn and Einhorn is Finkel.
Yep, absolutely. Little Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
We have all dated ourselves now.
Well, yeah, fair enough. Hey, he's laughing right along with us. He gets it. It's not that
He has
far.
good
It's
taste,
not.
but everybody else is like,
Yeah.
oh, these are some old people talking about this movie from the 1990s.
Truth. Alrighty. Well, guys, we're pretty into it. Wow, I got
Yeah.
lost in the time. I was like, wow, we're way past an hour. But man, I sure appreciate you guys. Honestly,
Yeah.
I was writing this last June, and I gave you guys all the first bit of audio in August. And Phil gets his back to me like in 3 seconds because that's what Phil always does. I have to say, you're incredible that
No,
way.
Phil doesn't.
Yeah.
Don't you lie on me.
Hey man, it's pretty good
Like-
timing. That's all I got to say. Ryan, you do a good job too. There's no hound in there. Intrepid Commander, I just got the end of his lines like the other day. I was like, dude, you need to give me the lines now.
James.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Little fire under his butt.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like that too. I'm like, James, you gotta do this.
I gotta
James,
hound him
you're
and hound
gonna-
him. And Doug has like a crumb load of lines. He actually has
Yeah.
probably the most lines of anyone in the whole story. Because Swenson is like somebody else Swenson, somebody else Swenson. It's always the Swenson show,
The Swenson show.
So that one I'm like, oh, okay. If it takes him longer, like I get it, right? Like you can just feed me a little at a time because that's some good stuff. But we can never replace Swenson. But it's been a year in production, and I just can't. It's so cool to watch it come to life, and thank you guys for being a part of that. Like, thank you so much. That's really cool.
It's pretty awesome, really. I mean, and I've played sound bites of the audio drama to some of my friends or coworkers or whatever, and they're all just amazed, that people still have fun doing this kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's worthwhile, and especially if you can tell a good story with people that friends, family from around the world, around the country at least.
Around the world. Yeah, I got France.
Yeah.
I got Australia this season.
Yep.
Man, people everywhere. Nobody from Russia.
That's
though.
awesome.
I do have
Yeah.
to say, though, from the perspective of being one of your actors or actresses, it is a little unusual to listen to it on the back end. And I hear a character speaking, but I'm being overridden in my brain by the fact that I know that voice.
Right?
And
Yeah.
and that
That's right.
it's a weird juxtaposition because like I try to get invested in the story and I try to listen. I'm like, oh, that's so and so, but then in my brain I'm like, no, dude, that's Ryan, that's Jordan, that's so and so,
Oh,
that's
who are they playing
Survivor
now?
Jane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Survivor Jane, man. I tried to get her on. She's deep in the garden. Because
Especially right now, yeah, I bet her and Rick are up to their eyeballs in produce.
if anybody knows my series, like Survivor Jane's role
Yeah.
is
It's
interesting.
gonna be interesting.
We're gonna say that. So I gave her the whole set. She has no time, but I was like, "Yep, it goes to an interesting direction." So that would be hilarious if we keep the audio drama going and things like that. So
We got Dale and Lisa back this year.
I'm excited.
I'm trying to browbeat Dale into staying.
Yes.
Lisa's out. She's busy and stuff, but I'm trying to keep Dale browbeat into Laudner. He's the best Laudner. And now I can't really think of Laudner as anybody else's voice, And he actually does some off characters that you're like, who is that doing that? He has the equipment to he does it with
Change his
equipment. Yeah, not with his, right? But yeah, I'm really trying to keep them as part of it. The storyline, because at the end of every season, we blend together more and more, right? So it was all individual at the beginning. And then the end of season 2, characters are going to blend together, storylines.
No spoilers.
Right, I stopped myself. there's going to be a blending of two storylines. So we'll be with that storyline with the other one as the offshoot, basically. So
Well,
it's
we've already
gonna
had a little bit of blend. Vergis
Yeah.
has shown up
yeah.
at the beginning. At the beginning,
Yeah.
Vergis shows up at the restaurant, and
Oh yeah, yeah, I did the blend,
Yep.
and then Swenson runs into
him
Vergis
and
up
line
at
for
the
meds.
Yep, yeah. So I've been bumping the characters into each other, but I'm talking like the storylines come together that much, and so it'll cut down on the amount of extraneous characters we need to do, because that's the problem. Like with most of you guys, I can only have you do the characters you're doing, right? Because everybody's like, well, first of all, that's a lot of work. And second of all, like everybody knows your voices are those roles, right? So other characters that aren't like main characters, I have them doing like 8 different characters, right? Because I need all those man 1, man 2, fill in, right? So, yeah, people like being the one character better, and I figure I can just cut that down a little bit and minimize my work a little. This was intense, man.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean, like
it's a lot of work.
Just from the perspective of doing a podcast and having like multiple audio streams to merge together into one cohesive show, like I can only imagine the hellscape that is you trying to get this many different characters' voices shoved together, synced up, spaced apart, and make it sound natural.
Right, like they're in the conversation. Because everything's individual audio. And guys, that list of 3 pages that you saw, that's just half of the show. This is the other half. Okay? Because I had to do it in the 2 stints for you guys.
I totally appreciate what a massive headache it must be, and I hope your fans appreciate the work that goes in from you having to browbeat the poor schlubs into doing the actual voice acting. But even once we're done and we quote unquote clock out, then you still have hours upon hours upon hours of work to turn 30 or 40 different audio files into something that sounds somewhat cohesive.
Right. Yeah, and I'm about 2 hours per minute for production time. It takes about 2 hours per minute. And,
depending on the number of people in the scene, that sounds about right.
And then, or what's going on? Like, are they just riding in a truck? Okay, that's easier to put together than they're going into a gun battle. The truck arrives, they jump out, they run in over here, right?
Yep.
And shows like that are like 11 layers of audio down on the audio processor.
If not more at times, because you have to compile them into sound files. Which
Or I have to create them in 2 halves because there's just so many sound files that need to go into it that I can't bring them all up. So I have to do it half and half to make it happen. It's a serious amount. Yeah. I learned a lot about audio editing.
And this is one of the things. And this is one of the things I've told Fletcher. I've told other people who've talked about podcasting, because that's my area of expertise, even though I'm not an expert. But anyway,
that's where I was.
But like, it's what I tell everybody. I'm like, you can have the best idea in your head, but to be able to take it out of your head and actually produce it and have it sound good, that the technology aspect, the software, that is its own 3-headed dragon to try to tame. And I've known great content creators over the years who had a great show, great format, great conversations, but they couldn't master the technology to actually produce it and push it out, and the shows flounder. So, I mean, you're right. It is absolutely 110%. Once you get done with your voice acting and we get done with all of ours, you still have the biggest hurdle to jump over of all, and that is to try to make all of this insanity.
But it's super fun. It's super so fun. I mean, I really enjoy it. Exactly. Yeah. And then all the music's now tailored in, to really pop the emotions and all that stuff. I mean, it's just come so far since the first production of it that I'm happy. Can't wait to start sharing it with you guys. So, yeah. Good times.
I'm eager. Dancing dangerously close to spoilers.
I know. The dance.
So now he's Chin.
Yeah. When the child becomes the parent. Mom, don't do that. Don't do that. So, alrighty, guys. Well, thanks for coming on. and being a part of the show. Like I say, I mean, couldn't do what I do without you guys. Couldn't bring it to life without you guys. I really appreciate it. Again, kudos. And we'll go ahead and go do some 4th of July celebrating.
Awesome. Thanks for the
Roger that.
opportunity, Sarah. It's been pretty awesome, really.
Man, I really appreciate it. Again, you guys make the changing Earth world go round.
Yeah.
You do.
It has been a blast. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. I'm trying to get my beard look as
Don't-
good as his.
Oh, are you
Look,
gonna
I know
pet?
you ha-
You're gonna pet the
I know you
beard
have
like a
beard
thing?
envy. It's okay.
I do. My first thing my first time I came in here, and God said, "Let there be beards," and then He created Phil. I mean, commercials.
Oh,
mean-
man. Yeah.
I just
I've never
need
seen
a
Doug so enamored. Oh.
I just need a good beard sponsor, like somebody that will pay me to be a beard model. I don't have the face for modeling, definitely don't have the body for it, but I have the beard. So if I can just like work on that.
Tell you what, you're doing well. I got 2 inches. I'm like, I can't stand it. It feels constant like something crawling over my face, and I hate that sensation. So once a week, I take it down to a 5 millimeter, and then that's done. This is how I am.
I can't stand Brock's either. It grows so fast, but I'm just like, oh, I can't stand it, man.
I will say, so far, the weirdest experience of having an extremely long beard is waking up in the morning and at some point in the sleeping like a Tasmanian devil, turn over and over in my sleep, I get my beard stuck under my armpit.
Oh, no.
So I'm literally caught like this, laying on my left side, and when I first wake up, I can't lift my head because my head's pinned, and I can't. It takes me a minute to like realize where I am and what's going on, and realize I have to roll off my left side to be able to get my beard free so I can move my head.
And then you got pit beard. Ew.
I mean, it's not that awful, but
Kind of picturing you looking like that chick from The Grudge when you first wake up. Your hair's all covered.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like all around his head and shit.
I have actually woken up one morning and my beard was shaped like a check mark. Like it literally went down about 2/3 the way, and then the whole beard turned hard left at 90 degrees. And it was perfectly formed like that. I have no idea how I pulled it off.
I have no idea what you got in your beard to make it stay like that. That's weird.
I don't either. I woke up with it like that.
Down there.
It's got a mind of its own.
Man, I'm telling you.
There's something about Mary.
And we just dated ourselves again.
All right.
All right,
Alrighty, guys. Yeah, you definitely need to come out to Prepper Camp, Doug. Come on now.
Yeah, that's what we'll stick on afterwards. So we'll talk about Prepper Camp.
Yeah, totally. All right, guys.
Nice meeting you.
Well, take care, everyone. Thanks for everybody for joining us.
Bye.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.